What's up everyone? In today's video, I'm going to show you two simple, efficient, and quick circuits that I do every week, either before or after my runs to strengthen my glutes, my hips, and my core. For the glute circuit, all you're going to need is a mini band, so like a resistance band like this one, like a mini loop. I actually just broke the heavier resistance one. But all you need is a mini band for the glute circuit, and you're going to need like some sort of stool or chair or bench to put your feet on in a laying position. And then for the core circuit, you just need you and your body. If you don't have a resistance band like this one, that's okay. You can still try the circuits and just make sure you slow down the movements to feel more of that burn. And then you could also hold a dumbbell too if you wanted to. Okay, so when I say it's simple, I mean it. The glute circuit is only going to be 3 exercises and it's going to be 9 minutes long. It's going to be Tabata style. So what that means is that you're going to be doing one movement for 45 seconds. You'll then rest for 15 and then move on to the next movement for 45 seconds. So like I said, for the glute circuit, you will have 3 different exercises. You're going to be doing 4 rounds total. All right, so exercise number 1 is going to be iso squat lateral walks. So you're going to want to put the band around right below the knees in the mid band position. And so the way this movement is going to work, you're going to be down in that squat here, and we're going to be taking 2 steps in one direction, and then you'll be doing 2 steps in the other direction. When you're doing the movement, you want to make sure your knees are never caving inward. The point of having the band is to have tension on the band at all times. So you want to make sure your knees are kind of pressing outwards with tension always on that band, really feeling that burn. You're really slowing down the movement. Additionally, the deeper in the squat you go, the more you will feel it. Some alternatives to this movement, you can always put the band above your knees, make that a little bit easier. And of course, you can always, take that squat a little bit higher instead of having it too deep if you need to. All right, exercise number 2 of the glute circuit is going to be a monster walk. So you're going to be having the resistance band in that same position, the bottom of your legs right below the knees or more towards your ankles. And the way this is going to work is going to be 2 steps kind of forward zigzag and then 2 steps backward zigzag. So you're going to be in that deep squat position. You're taking 1 foot diagonally up to the right, close it in, and then do that same thing zigzagging to the front left. So back and forth. Same goes here. The deeper the squat, the more burn you're going to get. Option, you can always take that band above your knees. You can also just take it to a regular walk instead, not having that deep of a squat. Okay, so this third movement here are going to be hip thrusts with your heels either on that chair, bench, or stool. So I have this little table here from out back, and you're going to have that resistance band, at that bottom, same position, laying flat on the ground here, heels on the bench, tension on the band. Do not forget about that tension. One of the most important parts of the movement if you want to get that burn. And then as you exhale, you're going to press those hips up, squeezing those glutes at the top, slowly coming back down, always having tension on the band, never releasing it there. Nice and controlled, nice and slow there. You'll also feel a little bit of a burn in your hamstrings. Option for that one, you can take away that band, put it above your knees. You can also take it just to a regular glute bridge on the ground as well. Okay, so now it's time to put them all together. So remember, it's going to be 4 rounds of those 3 exercises. You're going to be doing one movement for 45 seconds. We'll then have 15 seconds to rest and transition into the next exercise. For the core circuit that I'm going to show you, it's also going to be Tabata style, so you'll be doing the 45 seconds of work and then the 15 seconds of recovery and transition into the next movement. It's only going to be 3 exercises for 2 rounds. You're going to get a little bit of a shoulder burn in as well. If you saw my strength training video that I posted, I talked about core, and I talked about how I really like doing planks and functional core movements that work towards running. And I like doing that because, you know, like I was saying in my strength video, you know, when you are running, it's kind of like a plank movement. Additionally, plank sort of exercises work your entire core. So that's going to include your glutes, your hips, your back, your transverse abdominis. You know, there's a lot in your core system that needs to be worked rather than just doing crunches till you're blue in the face. So we're gonna have 3 sort of core movements. The first one is going to be a plank jack. But for your plank jack here, you wanna make sure you have a neutral spine. You wanna make sure your legs are completely extended. You don't wanna see any bent leg. You don't wanna see any hips sagging. I know it's kind of hard to tell in my baggy t-shirt. But for the plank jack here, keeping that core nice and engaged, you're gonna jump those feet out and then back in. So out, in. And at no point do you want your hips to come up, and at no point do you want your hips to sag. So you want to keep that body nice and straight, nice and neutral as you hop those legs back and forth. An option there, you can either step it out and in instead of that hop. You can also take it down to your regular plank position, completing that same movement. All right, so exercise number 2 is going to be a side plank leg raise. So you're gonna get a little bit of oblique work in there as well. And then you should also feel a little bit of tension in your glutes and your hips. So getting into that side plank position, you can either do it on your elbow or up on your hand. I think the more challenging movement will be up on your hand. That's what I usually do, but don't get me wrong, down on your elbow is just as great of a burn. Just gonna be in that side plank position here. You wanna keep your chin and neck in a neutral position, keeping those eyes forward. So you want to make sure your hips are never sagging. You want to keep it nice and upward there, straight line. Then I'm going to take that top leg and slowly move it up and down there, nice and controlled, never rushing through it, always making sure you're exhaling right before you lift. Inhaling on that way down. Remember to breathe. You never want to hold your breath during any movement. Nice. And then of course, we'd flip it over to the other side. Yep, same thing there. Making sure that hip is nice and up towards the ceiling, keeping your neck neutral position, eyes forward. Awesome. The last movement here is going to be just that simple bird dog that I had in my strength video, where you're extending outward just like that. So getting a nice burn in there, and then you'll move back to the top of the circuit. So I hope you give these circuits a try. If you do, let me know what you think of them. You can either add them to, you know, your core day or your glute day and leg day. You can also throw in that glute circuit, maybe a modified version, like 30 seconds of each exercise, or just a 1 round before your runs to really get your glutes and your hips activated. Remember, it is so important as distance runners and as athletes to strength train. Our entire body is connected, and when one thing isn't working properly, that can kind of throw something else out of whack and then lead to injury. Additionally, strength training can make you a more efficient runner. So yeah, maybe you'll be sore on a couple easy runs here and there, but long term, it's incredibly worth it. Another thing, don't forget to properly warm up for your run or your workout, and then don't forget to cool down as well. So I think it's often overlooked. It's really important to also relax and lengthen your muscles as well as put them under tension. So you always want to make sure you're relaxing after your workout, stretching, and just really making sure you're giving yourself the best recovery. All right, so if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you for watching. This is actually really fun to create, and I really look forward to making more little workout videos like that. Let me know what you thought of it, and if you liked it, I would love for you to click that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video, but until then, happy running.